This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 87. Models and Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. Could you possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. Last week, I talked all about the Games Workshop 40k Christmas bundle, so this week I want to talk about all the Age of Sigmar ones, and some other hobby goodness. But first, do you know the only thing standing between you and achieving greatness? That's right, your very own website. And today's sponsor, Squarespace, can help you there. Squarespace is the all-in-one website builder that makes it easy and simple to create the website of your dreams. And I do mean dreams. You ever wake up in the middle of the night with that next great business idea and you throw off the covers and get started? Well, with Squarespace's members area tools, it's easy. By helping you monetize classes, workshops, newsletters, or podcasts, you can finally make that dream a reality. Make your website clean and professional by choosing from their huge catalog of award-winning templates that can give your website that professional look. And they have tons of other features like comment sections so that your community can engage directly with the content you publish on your website. So head on over to Squarespace for that free trial. When you're ready to rock and roll, use our code EonsOfBattle to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now, onto those Christmas boxes. I know the 40k catalog like the back of my hand, so it's super easy to know exactly the quality of that box, but with Age of Sigmar, it's all kind of new to me. It's just cool models. So it's always fun to take a look at Age of Sigmar stuff because I don't have any of it. I've never built any of it. It's all brand new. And the first one is the Canaanite Slaughter Coven Battle Force Daughters of Kane. I kind of wanted to start a Daughters of Kane army. I thought they looked really cool. And so I got the Warhammer Underpants set, the 6 little ladies, and I painted them up. And it was a horrible slog. I was not completely happy with my results, and so I do not want to start a Daughters of Kane army anymore. They're still really cool, and I think if I really tried and spent a couple of evenings just doing test model after test model, I could find a scheme that's easy and enjoyable to do that would help me get through a whole army. But and there's other Age of Sigmar armies that I'm a little bit more interested in starting now. But this box comes with, you got the horse biddies, the stabby biddies, the snake biddies, the flying biddies, and the Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. The contents of this box all comes to $302, which is a little bit lower than what we saw with some of the 40k boxes. There were some 40k boxes that were on the low end of 300, but there was the Night box was 140. So I think this box is decent. And if Games Workshop continues the $210 for a Battle Force, which is what they cost last year, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like this box. I do like the Slaughter Queen and Cauldron of Blood, and if you build it as one of the other options, you get the Slaughter Queen separately, and that's your HQ choice for the army. So you do get 2 units out of that one kit. After that, we got the Cruel Boys Swamp Lurkers Battle Force Orruk Warclans. This one comes with 15 models. I get it, there's some big models here and some cool models here, but 15? You're ripping open this box on Christmas Day and you're 15 models? That's just kind of lame. I get it, they're cool. You get the alligator gorilla and the gobsprak, the mouth of Gork. The mouth of Gork. And they're really cool. They're really awesome models. Marco Frisoni, no Chosmeka, has an excellent video on painting up the mouth of Gork, or the mouth of Mork, sorry, and it's really, really cool. But 15 models, I feel like that's just not enough. If you add up all of the contents of the box, it comes to $315, so the value is still on the low end of what we've seen from these Christmas Battle Forces, and it's fine. If you like the Cruel Boys, this is probably a good box because it doesn't come with any overlap. It does come with the Gut Rippas and the Man Skewer Bolt Boys, which were in Dominion, but you need more of those anyway, so it's a good get if you have 1 or 2 copies of the Dominion, but it's fine. Although I love this next box. Stampeding Squigalanch, the Battle Force for the Gloomspite Gitz. It is all squigs, only squigs. You got your Loon Boss on Giant's Cave Squig, you got your Mangler Squig, you got another Mangler Squig, Squig Herd, Squig Hoppers. It's all of the squig units, it's adorable, it's very silly. I love the Gloomspite Gitz. It's one of the coolest things in Age of Sigmar. I remember when they came out, there was that wonderful kind of commercial promotional video where they had an animation going on and you had the great Loon Boss talking to the moon. What do they call the moon? The bad moon. And he's like, The bad moon spoke to me once, only once, years ago. It's such a cool little spiel, and it really puts you in the mindset of who the Gloomspite Gitz are. Who are these little goblins who love spiders and moons? It's great. I love it. This box is very fun. 25 models. I feel like that's an acceptable number of models. Like, it's still kind of more start collecting or combat patrol levels of models than maybe a Christmas bundle, but the Mangler squigs are huge, so maybe I can allow it a little bit. But yeah, 25 models, I like it, really cool. Adding up the totals of this entire box, $313. Again, the Age of Sigmar boxes are just a little lower than the 40k boxes. Maybe it's just because Age of Sigmar models tend to be just a little bit cheaper than 40k models, because Age of Sigmar is not as popular as 40k, so Games Workshop can't gouge those players quite as hard as they can the 40k players. Oh, but speaking of numbers of models in a box, next up we got the Verminous Host, the Battle Force for the Skaven. 85 miniatures. 85 miniatures. That is a happy Christmas afternoon, putting all those models together. You got 2 boxes of Plague Monks, 2 boxes of Clan Rats, a Storm Fiends, a Screaming Bell, and the Warlock Bombardier, which is a really fun model. Again, Age of Sigmar, looking through all these models gave me a great opportunity to just look at all these models up close in the Games Workshop web store, and it's a lot of fun. There's really fun stuff for Age of Sigmar. The total contents of this box comes to $338. See, there you go, $338. That's a great value, assuming that it costs $210 like it did last year. That is excellent. $338, 85 miniatures. I like the Skaven a lot. I think Nick has his eyes on Skaven, but I also think they're pretty cool. Next up, we got Battle Force Nighthaut Legion of Grief. This box is kind of good. 32 miniatures, good number. Good number of miniatures. You got the Stabby Ghosts, the Sickle Ghosts, you got the Swordy Ghosts, Lady Oleander, and the Black Coach. The Black Coach is one of the most gorgeous models ever made. It's so nice. It's beautiful, the ghostiness, the wisps of smoke coming off of the wheels. It's flying, but it's also sort of on the ground. It's just so gorgeous. I love the Black Coach. And Lady Oleander is also an incredible model. And the Nighthaut paint up really, really well. I've seen tons of great color schemes online. If you have an airbrush, I mean, it could take you an afternoon. Just, dark color, light color, paint something metallic on the weapons, and you're golden. It's a really, really cool army. One of the coolest additions for Age of Sigmar. And it's just great. It's great to have literally an army of ghosts. No zombies or ghouls or goblins, literally just ghosts. And the total cost of this box comes to $330, probably because of Lady Oleander and the Black Coach. The Black Coach is like $130 by itself. And Nighthaut is maybe a little bit more on the expensive side because all of these models are brand new for Age of Sigmar, so they're only like 7 years old at the very oldest. And so the prices are a little higher. But all total, $330, pretty good, pretty darn good. Next up, we have Battle Force Sylvaneth Revenant Wargrove. The trees. 29 miniatures. Solid. Good number of miniatures. You got 2 tree lords, the giant walking trees. Not treants like from Lord of the Rings. Totally different. These are tree lords. The models that I really like, the Spite Revenants. The Spite Revenants are like, they're half of a tree and half of like a ghostly spirit coming out of the tree. And I really like that look. Especially it comes with the Dryads. And if you look at the Dryads, they're just tree people. And so it's really hard to kind of make them look good. Like they kind of disappear next to each other because they're all just kind of green and brown. But the spirit models, because they have that pop of electric blue or whatever extremely bright color you decide to paint there, you get 2 really nice contrasting colors in there, and it really makes the model spicy. And Drycha Hamadreth, the famous model, the ghostly spirit who has her boobies out, coming out of a tree that's covered in beehives, is a really fun, cool model, and I like it a lot. I think this is a great box. 29 miniatures. I've always thought about the Sylvaneth. They're cool. I like the nature elements of them, and everybody and their mom on the internet has bought these and then glued on either leaves or pieces of foam flocking to make them actually have like leaves on their tree branches, and it looks so good. So it seems like a relatively easy army to put together. It seems like an easy army to paint. It's really enticing and inviting. And this box is a little enticing. Maybe the move, because Age of Sigmar isn't as popular as Warhammer 40,000, and so maybe the move is you kind of let these boxes go. You let them get bought up by people, and then, you go through your January, and towards the end of January, you start looking on eBay for if anybody bought the box and then is like, oh, I actually didn't want to buy this, and then you can maybe snag it for an even better deal. Maybe that's the move. Maybe that's what I'll do to try to get some Sylvaneth models. And last but not least, we got the Battle for Stormcast Eternals Thunderstrike Spearhead. 26 miniatures, fine. It comes with the 2 big old dragons, normal dudes, the Terminators, and the guy who looks just like a 40k chaplain, the Vigilator. Really cool models. It would be a good addition to my Stormcast army. I have the Dominion box, and I have a couple more little odds and ends. I don't know. I like the Stormcast a lot, and I like their lore, and the paint scheme I have is pretty easy, but I think if I was going to Age of Sigmar it up, I would get something different. Maybe start a few smaller Sigmar armies before creating a massive Sigmar army. The total cost of this box, oh, by the way, the Revenant box, the Sylvaneth box, $350. The best value out of any of these Age of Sigmar boxes. But the Thunderstrike box is $325. Which is good, pretty good. Better than some of the earlier boxes we took a look at, and it's fine. You get the 2 big dragons, which is probably the big draw of this box, and it would go nicely with a set of Dominion, which you can get for like peanuts. Like Dominion, Games Workshop, I would have loved to have been in the boardroom or in that meeting. I would have loved to have seen the emails because Indomitus, the big 40k box for Warhammer 40,000 9th edition, sold unbelievably. It sold out in like 11 seconds. And then they did a made to order where everybody in the world bought one. And so they probably made a similar number of Dominions. And I'm sure it sold well, but it did not sell Indomitus well. And so you can find those boxes everywhere. The Age of Sigmar battle forces are really, really fun. A lot of them look a lot more appealing to me than the 40k ones just because I don't have any of these models. And so like the Gloomspite Gitz is super fun. The Sylvaneth one looks great. The Daughters of Kane one looks lovely. I won't be buying it because Daughters of Kane are very hard to paint, but it's a lot of fun. Some good stuff here. But speaking of new things that Games Workshop showed off that immediately caught my eye, I'm like, I need that. I want to buy that. I'm going to buy it right now. The Ironcrawler for Necromunda, the Necromunda Ash Wastes. The second I saw this model, I'm like, that is my Gene Stealer Cult centerpiece model. And then I saw that it was sold by Forge World. Why are we still doing Forge World? It made sense back in the day. When did Forge World start? Like 2004, when resin was way better than plastic. But now plastic's way better than resin, and it's cheaper, and you can buy it from Games Workshop, who can occasionally keep things in stock. The things do actually vanish from the Games Workshop web store, but they usually come back, where Forge World stuff just vanishes forever. I can't buy my Kroot Riders anymore because they were discontinued in like 2007. But I love this model. It is gorgeous, it is beautiful, and it's probably going to cost $280 because the Games Workshop version of this kit, this is built out of the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, which Games Workshop somehow sells for $85, which is a ludicrous price. It's a little bit bigger than the Games Workshop shipping container, and the shipping container is essentially $20 a container. The box sales, it has 3 containers for $60, so you got $20 worth of container. Is the rest of it worth like $65? Is just the wheels? Are those really, really nice tires pulling that shipping container along? I love the Ironcrawler. It's a beautiful model, but I don't know. I'm not willing to spend Forge World prices. This is probably the biggest model we've seen Forge World actually release. I can't remember the last time they actually came out with a big old tank type model. Maybe the re-release of the Thunderhawk gunship in like 2016? Was that the last really big Forge World model they came out with? I mean, this thing isn't massive. It's probably a little smaller than like a Space Marine Land Raider, if I had to guess, but I don't know. I'm ready for Forge World to be done. make all, maybe keep Forge World just for the Horus Heresy hero characters, and please remake all of the Titans into plastic and then sell them from Games Workshop. But speaking of things that are plastic and from Games Workshop, I actually got some good hobbying done this week. I also painted an entire army, and you're going to see that pretty soon in a video. But when I wasn't doing that, I got another box of Blade Guard. Nope, Blade Brethren. Sword Brethren for the Black Templar. Very, very different from the Blade Guard Veterans. The very different unit. The Sword Brethren are Black Templar, and it's one of the greatest boxes that Games Workshop has made in a long time. They're absolutely beautiful Space Marines. I was a little bit worried buying another set of 5 because the previous ones, I built them all exactly according to the instructions, and they're pretty customizable. They have the classic Games Workshop, like just shoulder joints where you can glue on whatever arms you want, but this cape. The cape is a little tricky. The cape is keyed. It's not keyed to the arm, but it's designed exactly to go on certain arm poses. But I figured out that the cape and that arm will actually fit on any of the 5 bodies. So I just looked at the 5 that I built previously, and then I just rearranged which bodies got which set of arms and capes, and it looks great. I now have 10 totally unique Blade Guard Veterans, and by Blade Guard Veterans, I mean Sword Brethrens for the Black Templar. Oh, I'm gonna paint these models up, and they're gonna be so good. I don't know if taking 10 in a game makes any sense. I know the Blade Guard Veterans are super good in the game right now, but I think there's totally room for the Sword Brethren. They do fulfill a different role, because you can buy more Sword Brethren to put in your army than you can Blade Guard Veterans, because you're not paying for the Storm Shield, and they're just more expensive in general. So I definitely think there's room, especially in my Black Templar army, for lots and lots of Sword Brethren. Oh, these guys are cool. And if you don't play Black Templars, but you still play Space Marines, I think you still probably pick up this box and just use them as lieutenants and captains throughout your army, and it would look so good. I mean, you get these beautiful capes, you get all of these nice power swords. That actually would work especially good because you get tons of weapon options in this box. I went all pistol and all power sword because I don't really like mixed loadouts in my armies. It's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I get that it's like great tactically to do that, but I just like the look of 5 guys and they all have their swords as opposed to 3 guys with swords, 1 guy with a thunder hammer, and 1 guy with a pair of lightning claws, which is probably the optimum build. Maybe if I could have gone all lightning claw, but you can't. You can take 1 of each unique weapon, and then you can always have as many chains. Or actually, I think it does come with enough chain swords to have all chain swords, or you get all power swords, the Warhammer equivalent of a lightsaber. Ooh, although chain swords would have been kind of cool. Keep these guys really, really cheap. Although that doesn't make any sense because I definitely want a lot of Crusade squads, and all of those Crusade squads are going to be all chain swords all the time. So these guys can be fun with their power swords. But I got 5 more of these put together. They're all ready to be painted. I just need to prime them and get moving on them. Oh, pretty soon I will have a lovely new Primaris addition to my Black Templar army. I didn't get a chance to paint these this week, but what I did get a chance to paint is 1 single model for Star Wars Legion. On Facebook, somebody showed off their beautiful black paint job, and so it just kind of got me inspired to try some more black painting, and it's so hard. Black armor is the worst thing in the whole world, and I paint so much of it. I have tried oil painting, contrast paint, speed paint, layering, grays, blues, magentas, all of these different ways to try to make black armor look really, really interesting. And on these guys, what I did was I used a zenithal highlight and contrast paint, and that kind of made them look like the thing from the movie. These are the Death Troopers from Star Wars Legion from Rogue One, which is one of the best Star Wars movies ever. I love that movie. I remember I saw it twice in theaters. It was great. But and then I just took a blue-gray and I just slowly highlighted everything. And I spent probably about an hour highlighting this guy, doing lots of edge highlighting, glazes, building up contrast. And at the end of it, I thought he looked pretty good, but he doesn't look that different from this. And the tricky thing with black armor is if you push the highlights, it's not black armor. It's whatever color you use to highlight. And if you don't push the highlights, it just looks either like a primed model or it looks like a primed model with edge highlights. Games Workshop pretty much does a primed model with edge highlights, but blown up huge on the game store, on like the Games Workshop web store spinnies. It looks pretty darn good and it does a good job of showing off what you're buying with the model kit. But it doesn't look great. It doesn't feel artistic. It doesn't feel like it really has presence. It doesn't make the model look super interesting to me. So I tried doing just edge highlighting and glazes, and I think it worked out. I think it'll make for a good looking squad of Death Troopers. But when I get Inferno Squad for my Star Wars Legion Imperial Army, I think I might try a different type of black armor. I haven't cracked the code. I don't have the secrets to black armor. I don't know if anybody does. The most beautiful black armors I've ever seen probably is Marco Fersoni, no just mecha. Second plug in this video, but he has a beautiful video, a few really nice videos of doing black armor. One on a Black Templar, actually 2 of them on a Black Templar, because one of them is just on a 3D print Black Templar, which looks really cool, and then another one on the limited edition Emperor's Champion. I think his name was like Belcher? It was like Belcher's Revenge. It's not that, but it's something a lot like that. If you look up Belcher's Revenge Marco Fersoni, I bet you find it. But it's a really... The black armor, as much as I like to hate on it for being difficult and like just giving me so much anxiety and stress, it is a fun challenge to try to make black look really, really interesting. And so I had fun painting up this guy. I'll get the other 5 painted up in no time at all, and then I'll finally have one less thing in my pile of shame for my Star Wars Legion, which has grown quite a bit. Did I mention it on this show? I bought the Battle Droids versus the Clone starter box because it was on sale one day from Amazon. Yeah, so that's another 40 models I need to paint. Oh my goodness. But I got one painted this week, so I'm doing a good job of staying on top of things. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that this guy is highlighted enough? Is he obviously different and painted compared to just the guy with contrast paint? Because I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I don't think there would be anything more I do to this to make him more poppy, more interesting, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But speaking of thoughts, you know what I've been thinking about? That's right, our Patreon. We here at EonsOfBattle Studio are coming out with a new Patreon tier, the EOB Mega Fans. And in addition to getting everything else offered on our Patreon, you're also going to be immortalized with a Space Marine. I have here the first example of a Space Marine with a golden nameplate. The name is Lucky Bat, and if you know, you know. But this is what we're aiming to do. We're going to take our Patreon supporters and we're going to put their names onto my Space Marines, and that is where they will be. And so all of my Space Marines are going to have lovely, hopefully very silly, PG-13-ish names. We're working on getting battle reports and all sorts of new, interesting things going, and so this new tier is going to help us to achieve that. And you will get the chance to possibly see your name in our videos, because the Black Templars show up on camera a lot, especially when we get the battle reports going. And so getting your name on a Space Marine, that's you. This is Lucky Bat. And it's just and it just kind of looks good, doesn't it? Like I almost want to put nameplates on my other models just that say something. But yeah, that is going to be our new tier. You will be a Space Marine. Also this month, we have some new STLs ready to populate our wargaming table in the form of the Dawn of War-inspired Chaos Terrain and the Lord Acolyte, all hosted by Comics, Games, and Things. This week was a very fun week of hobbying, and I maybe do have my eye on some Age of Sigmar stuff. If there was a Caradron Overlord box, I would have already pre-ordered it, but those trees do look pretty good. Thanks for watching.